Mark, I want to put that first part of the quote to you, that Ruben Amorim says we have the players to win any game in the Premier League. Do you agree with that?
No. But I think they've got a better team this year. They've definitely improved the forward line. They're much better. Watching United yesterday, they were totally different. They were exciting. They were adventurous. But as Shaka, I'm sure, will agree, they haven't got a goalkeeper. And when you haven't got a goalkeeper that you can rely upon, you can't beat the best teams in the Premier League, because I think that's United's issue. They had the better of the game against Arsenal, but they didn't take any of the chances. And when you don't take your chances, you need a keeper that's going to keep them out. And it was a terrible goal to concede, and whether it was Bayindir or Onana, they can't rely on the goalkeeper. So that's why I don't think United can beat the best teams in the Premier League, because they haven't got a goalkeeper they can rely upon.
All right, let's take a look back then, Shaka, at that Arsenal goal and ask you who was to blame.
Bayindir will obviously have to shoulder the lion's share of the blame. There's no other way to put it. The kind of amazing thing about this is, this isn't new from Arsenal. We saw this all season, last season. And I just feel that Manchester United seem ill-prepared at best. Why Saliba is allowed just to kind of have his way by Bayindir is beyond me. But then, even with that, he could have been stronger. He could have been more physical about it. And now, I watched the show yesterday and the discussion around how physical Bayindir could have been with Saliba, given we're now in the age of VAR, and what that looks like. But while back in my day, somebody that close to me, that physical with me, you can just kind of put your body on them, you can push them away, and that mightn't go unnoticed. Players will probably go over a whole lot easier and invite the referee and the VAR to make a decision. So secondly, as a goalkeeper, I think you have to be a little bit more clever about it. Now, the odd thing from a technique perspective about this is Bayindir goes with his left hand, the hand that's closer. While it's closer to Saliba, it's also closer to the ball. But as a result, he can't get anything. He can't get anything on it. He gets nowhere near. Now, if you look at Raya up the other end and how he went about it, he had a strong, from crosses coming from this side, he had a strong left arm and kind of came over the top with the right to get a punch on the ball. Now, even if Saliba, in this case, is being way too physical and you aren't able to get that top hand around, if you make a point of kind of showing that the defender is pinning your, again, in this case from this side, pinning your left arm, then you make the appeal to the VAR. So while you can't, as a goalkeeper, do what you did 10 or 20 years ago, because of VAR, you can then get clever in how you kind of show this up as a foul. And I don't think Bayindir did that.
Do you agree with Shaka?
Yes and no. I think there's a section in the middle. You say 20 years ago, I understand that, but there was a gap in the middle to where if a goalkeeper drops on the floor, they'd just automatically give a free kick. It felt like, that's during the goalkeeper's softer era, you could say.
Well, according to Stevie Nicol, we're still in the goalkeeper's softer area, but that's a whole different argument we're on there.
I think it's good to see that go back again, because one thing which I'm seeing as well is within the frame of the goal, as the ball went in, there were 7 United players, and there were 2 Arsenal players. In reality, you should be able to deal with that situation, because as that surface is coming in, how many United players came close to heading the ball? You need to have people in and around the goalkeeper who are going to affect that. And the point that you've made about Bayindir being stronger, he absolutely needs to be. He needs to be smarter, needs to be stronger. Because in the first half as well, I think David Raya had a similar bit of service come in, and he got a strong punch to it. Yeah. He was under duress, he was feeling lots of pressure, but he came over the top and punched it. It wasn't a massive punch.
To the point.
It wasn't a massive punch, but it was a punch nonetheless.
Yeah.
And that's what you need, because if that in-swinging surface is going to come in, you need to trust your goalkeeper to be able to handle it. Because one thing about Arsenal, and it won't just be Arsenal this season, they're going to put you under pressure with set pieces in a way that, is different to years gone by, because I think there's more leniency now in terms of what you can do in and around a goalkeeper. So if you don't have a goalkeeper that's strong enough, as Oggy said, then Amorim can talk about, could beat any team. Well, that's unless there's an in-swinging corner coming in for, the 10th time and again.
To that point, and Raya isn't a physically imposing goalkeeper, yet he dealt with the pressure from Manchester United wonderfully well. And the other thing, and again, Bayindir will accept, he will have to take a lot of the blame here. But I think I'm right in saying that Mount is the closest defender to Saliba. Now, I mean, Saliba is a big boy. Mount isn't. You know, so for, again, how you set up, it's almost as though this set piece, Arsenal's setup, caught Amorim by surprise. And there's absolutely no reason, no excusing that.
Where are you on this, Mark Ogden?
The goalkeeper, I mean, watching that yesterday, I mean, I've just seen it again now, I've seen it quite a few times. I don't think there was even a foul. I think Saliba and Mount are grappling in front of the goalkeeper. And Bayende is almost walking into the confrontation. You watch Saliba, he doesn't do anything to Bayende apart from just maybe encroaching his space a little bit. So Bayende should just be pushing him out of the way. Now, I take Shaka's point about what was Mason Mount doing on Saliba. There is a theory that because of last season, Arsenal would tend to attack the far post, that De Ligt was on the far post waiting for the Arsenal, the big guys to arrive there. So De Ligt was the presence at the far post. But that still doesn't explain why Mason Mount is taking, you know, William Saliba at centre-half. So there's a few issues for United to address there, and they were caught out. But, you know, I've seen lots of kind of revisionist theories about this, that, you know, Onana would have been better there. If David De Gea had stayed, he'd have been fine. Well, we saw David De Gea very weak at that sort of set-piece situation in his final years at United. Onana's never been convincing. So we know that United have looked for a goalkeeper this summer. They inquired at Emi Martinez at Aston Villa early on in the window, were told he wasn't available, certainly not on loan. Gianluigi Donnarumma is a player, as a goalkeeper they've looked at as well, but that has kind of stalled. I think the wages are too high there. But they do need a goalkeeper, and they are looking for a goalkeeper. But Ruben Amorim has to say the right things to basically say to his goalkeepers, you're my guys. They're his guys until they're not his guys, and the sooner that they're not his guys, the better for Ruben Amorim. But at the moment, he has to say, you know, I back Bayende and Onana because they're both good goalkeepers. But, I mean, personally, I think they're the worst two goalkeepers in the Premier League in terms of they've got the worst number one and the worst number two.